Good morning, everyone. I love it. Welcome to Playable Worlds. We're going to talk about Stars Reach today. I'm joined by Dave Georgeson, game director. Say hi to them so they hear your
Howdy.
voice.
Hi.
Yeah. And you guys all know me as Carneros or Rick, and they're both fine. This is a fireside chat. I'm a little bit in seasonal mode. Dave is resisting so far, but he'll get there soon.
Not Thanksgiving yet.
All right, all right.
I'm
That's
full on
fair.
Santa mode the day after Thanksgiving.
That's fair. That's fair. But it's the weather has changed around here. We've got rain coming down. I have my window open so I can hear it. And it just feels normally we don't really have much in the way of seasons here, so it feels good. So I'm in the mood. And it's not just a fireside chat, but it's fireside chat number 50. We've had 50 of these now since we started them about, geez, 3 years ago. But okay, you know, the number just goes up. Who knew? We're going to talk about mostly two things today. One is this new update we just put out, GovBot. There's a lot to talk about. Dave's going to help us walk through it and why some of the things are the way they are. Oh, look, he's already standing in front of one in the game, if you take a look. And then, yeah, we're also going to and maybe some things that didn't make it into this version of GovBot but are planned for the future, like, I don't know, spaceport, stuff like that.
True.
But then we're also going to look at our posted roadmap, which internally we all call a living roadmap, because it's not just a picture of our roadmap posted and we'll go update it every now and then. No, all those tiles are moving tiles in it. And you could click on them and look up more information about each item. I think some people didn't figure that out yet. And it's very easy for us to move them back and forth as the development process goes, or as we make changes, or if something doesn't pass quality testing or doesn't pass player acceptance and gets demoted back to the design pile, we can do that. We can shift everything around in real time, or nearly so. And so there's stuff to be talked about there. And hey, we've already had once where the playtesters in the Discord pointed out something that was missing, and we went and quickly added it to the right pile. So your feedback matters. We are interested to hear it. We can take actions, and this is exciting. So we're going to discuss that probably in the second half of the show.
If we get there.
If we get there.
I'm kidding.
And good morning to all of you. Our Captain Rod is going to open up the servers towards the end of the show, so be ready for that. And I'm going to pop up at some point later today into the playtest chat and ask for what you guys think so far too. So keep that in mind. Have something to say when I show up. I'm just kidding. And thank you, Last Ditch Plan. That's appreciated for the shout out on the roadmap. And Fresh AF, thank you very much. The roadmap's really cool. Don't worry too much about finding it, although it's starsreach.com/roadmap. But we'll even I have that memorized. But we're going to bring it up on screen for you a little later. Thomas has it preloaded in his magic buttons list. So that'll be fun. Oh, thank you, Reflex. It's appreciated. So without further ado, well, now let me ask one more question. If you're in the stream chat right now, if you're watching the stream and you have never played Stars Reach, you have not joined the play test, give me an X in chat. Just type X and return. If you don't know what this game is, give us a Z or a Z if you're in Canada, and just let us know that you don't know what the game is, and we'll describe it to you because everyone needs to know what this game is.
Although if they don't know what this game is, I wonder how they got into this chat.
Magic. Okay, well, we got an X and a Z. Nice. I love
There
it.
you go. There you go.
We will
There's
say a
one.
few words then about what this game is. Thank you very much. This is a sandbox MMORPG set in a science fiction, actually half science fiction, half fantasy setting. Science fantasy. It's the kind of science fiction where we don't really need scientific truths behind where everything works. We can have things like nanos, nanites, and stuff making it happen, and we all smile and keep going. And it's more fun that way. It's that kind of science fiction. A sandbox MMO means we're not here to tell you a story. We're here to give you a marvelous playground world to play in, and you're telling the story as we go. There is a storyline, and you can have fun with it, but it's not the point of the game. You guys are the point of the game. This will make sense later if you haven't ever played one. We are inspired by a lot of past games. Star Wars Galaxies, Ultima Online, Landmark, if you remember EverQuest Next Landmark, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. A little bit comes from EVE Online. And there are bits and pieces that come all the way back from Muds and Moos. If you're an old timer, remember what that is. I have mostly forgotten, but I remember parts of it. And then we have done something really crazy and somewhat expensive. We have set this game in a living simulation running on cloud computing. So instead of building a set like you do for a motion picture or a stage play or most MMOs and most video games out there, instead of doing that, we built a world simulation and put the game in that. So it's alive and changing in the background. Weather might be eroding the shores and the mountains. Trees are growing and throwing off sprouts and seeding where you want. Animals are living a life, and they're not waiting for a human player to walk into the scene and they all click to life. No, that's not what's happening. They're out there and stuff is happening. But it's all one world. If you plant a tree, anyone who walks by sees that tree. It's the same tree. If someone cuts it down, that tree is cut down. Everyone can see it. Or in the case of some of you, more likely burned down than cut down. I know you guys. But anyway, we'll keep going. There is a lot you can do in this game. There's a whole set of skill trees. You can study any of them in any order as long as you just start at the bottom of the tree and work your way up. You can make up any class you want. There are no classes. It's only a class if you think of it that way. You can be any profession you want to tell someone you are. Just, go for it. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Politician, entertainer, journalist, and honestly, everything can contribute to the in-game economy and thus to the community of players. We don't all need to be combat specialists of some sort. No, heavens no. Craftsmen are in particular craftspeople, craft persons. They're very important in this game, hugely important and likely to be famous. Architects, absolutely huge. Anyway, we shall see. I'm going on and on. Dave, what did I miss in that?
You didn't miss anything. I've been thinking a lot about what this game is recently, and one of the things that, for those of you who've been here for a while, you know that we've been building a lot of things like this, the sim aspects and being able to dig and melt lava and all that other stuff. But I just wanted to say, really clearly, that's not the game. That's just the foundation for the game. The game is what you do with that foundation. the exploration of planets, the building up of governments and running organizations, and the adventure and the heroic opportunities and all that stuff. And that's kind of just now starting to get into the game. GovBot is the first step of that, which is what we're talking about today. So kind of all the way from when we started until right about now, we've been building foundation. Now we're starting to build the game. And so, yeah, it gets more fun from here. So if you think that this is a digging game, that's not what this game is. This game is very different than that. And you'll see as we start to add in heroic adventure opportunities and more stuff with GovBot and being able to do things like, well, I mean, eventually with PvP and some of the elements like that, there's territory control. There's a lot of game to go on top of the foundation that we've built up until now. Just want to throw that out there.
Thank you. We have one galaxy that we're all playing in, and we can all talk to each other and such, but we've broken it up into bite-sized chunks in a way, separate planets in this galaxy. And players can take control of a planet. They can establish a government there. They can choose a mayor. They can change their mind and elect a different mayor. They can work together to lay out a design and an organized planning community, or they could just go crazy. I mean, one or the other. The folks that work together will have an advantage in this game. You can play this game as a solo person who never comes back to town till he runs out of everything, and then go buy the minimum supplies somewhere and go back out into the wilderness exploring new planets, planet after. You could do that. But the game is more optimized for people cooperating with each other and needing each other. This is a design element in what we're doing, and it's important. These this particular expansion, content update that we just put out this week, 2 days ago, is based on the new government and setting it up and citizenship on a planet. So we've given some tools to the players. And the tools are based around a device, a robot, that is your interface to interacting with setting up a government. And we call that a GovBot. But this is about planetary government and the start of how this goes. So Dave, can you take us through this GovBot update and how this works and what your vision is kind of behind it? And thank you.
Oh boy, that's a big question. Okay, so GovBot is at its core, it's both a reason for people to cooperate with each other and build something that's bigger than any individual involved in the project, and then also it's a way of making order out of chaos. So, like when we start the game and you're out there with the frontier planets and there's no rules and it's kind of Wild West, people are tearing stuff up and moving stuff around and all that other stuff, and you're just building willy-nilly. But eventually, somebody's going to actually be able to, if they're interested in it, they're going to be able to build a planetary government on those planets and be able to start actually enacting controls on it so that you can prevent certain activities from happening. You can whitelist or blacklist the planet for different people. You can decide what the government controls are, as far as like whether you're a dictator or democracy or whatever you want to do in between. There's a lot of controls that go with it, and GovBot is the start of that. So what you do when you're playing GovBot is, well, the TPL has put these things together. They're called GovBot, and it's a mechanism that's basically a template for building planets, because the TPL would really like the universe or the galaxy to be very organized and lawful and all that other stuff. Now, there's a lot of area that's not, but this is kind of how they do it. So they created this thing. Later on, you'll be competing to decide who builds the planets and owns them as a government. But right now, because we're in pre-alpha, we're just sticking a GovBot on the planet, and everybody that's there, you can go up to the GovBot, you can become a citizen. Once you're a citizen, then you can start helping to build a township around that GovBot. Different kinds of buildings, different kinds of abilities, zoning rules and zoning laws, and we can kind of go through this more methodically. But yeah, it's basically a set of controls to be able to like make order out of chaos.
Nice. The TPL he's mentioning is called the Transplanetary League, by the way. And they're an organization in the game. They're running the space station you can go out to if you need the bank or something like that. It's pretty cool.
Since there are a couple of new folks, I'll just very lightly touch on the lore. Humanity used to have its own homeworlds, whether it was Elione or Terrans or Squatchy or whatever. They all had their own homeworlds. And in our own individual ways, we all screwed up our planets. Whether it was biological plagues or technology run amok or whatever it was, we screwed up. Turns out we were all part of an experiment run by something called the Old Ones. And they had a servant class of automatons called servitors. And the servitors are kind of running the program while the Old Ones have disappeared. Well, the servitors basically said, well, these guys are not supposed to die. So they helped us live by uplifting us off the planets. And now we are organized. We have self-organized ourselves into the Transplanetary League. But the servitors are still kind of our overseers at that point. So the servitors are watching the worlds and making sure that we don't screw these new ones up too bad. And then at the same time, trying to leave us to our own, they're trying to leave us enough independence that we can evolve and grow as a species. That's enough. That's good enough for now. So there's servitors, and there's the TPL, and then there's all of us playing the game.
All right. So why would one want to become a citizen of a particular planet?
Oh, why? Well, some people just like to help organize stuff. Some people like to build things. So when you become a citizen of a planet, you get access to the GovBot's controls, and you can do things like contribute to missions to be able to level up the GovBot and get that planet to have more stuff. But even if you're just an individual who doesn't really care about the group, participating in the GovBot activities is a good way to earn rewards for yourself, which can be things like faster XP or cheaper skill upgrades, so that you can use skill chits to upgrade your skills for free. You still have to spend XP, but you don't have to spend currency. So there's a lot of reasons. I would say that we'll be building more of those reasons into that system later, but even still right now, there's still valid reasons to do it, whether or not you're an individual or group-minded person.
Okay. And it's sometimes just fun to be a part of a group, be a part of something fun.
Oh, yeah.
And feel like you're a member. If you want to change your mind, you need to resign your membership on one planet to go, and which you could do at any time, before you can join up and be a citizen of a second planet. One at a time, please.
Yep.
Yeah, at least in this version.
In one place.
Yeah. Okay. So the first time you walk up to a GovBot, what can you do with one? If you get close to it and interact with it.
Almost nothing. All you can do when you walk up to a GovBot for the first time is become a citizen. And until you become a citizen, you cannot do anything with that GovBot. You can still be on the planet. You can still go off and do all the normal things that you would normally be able to do, but you can't participate in the GovBot activities for that planet unless you're a citizen. Once you become a citizen, then you're able to. Oh, good. He has the menu's up on the screen right now. Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
Once you have that up, you can participate in the current mission. Like what you're seeing right there, this is a level 1 GovBot, so this is what you see if you become a citizen. And it shows you that you can deposit different kinds of resources in order to be able to help level up that GovBot. And once you do that, new opportunities become available for the government, and they can start setting things out like mission boards and eventually starports and banks and all kinds of different things, so they can help build this hub that we call a township on the planet. And so you can deposit stuff directly into the GovBot by going and saying, well, it needs metal, so I'm going to go out and mine a bunch of metal, or it needs wood, so I'm going to go out and log trees, that kind of thing. And then once you do that, you can throw them into the hopper, into the GovBot, and you get what's called citizenship points at that point. Every time you help the GovBot achieve its missions, then you get citizenship points. And then citizenship points can, if you go to the leaderboard section of the GovBot interface, you are able to buy those rewards that I mentioned earlier. So where it says rewards there, you click on rewards, and then you're able to spend your citizenship points on those things. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell. Now, the other thing that you can do that's exciting for some people and not so exciting for other people is become the mayor. So the first time the GovBot is, when a level 1 GovBot is first opened up, nobody is mayor. And the person that's going to be mayor is the one that is the major contributor for that first mission. So if you pull that open again right now, that's Drake.
Leaderboard.
Right?
Leaderboard.
There you go, leaderboard.
Yeah.
So right now, Drake is the major contributor, top of the leaderboard. So if that continues to go that way, then when that mission is completed, Drake will become mayor. Well, I'll have to say, yes, sir, Mayor Drake. Not really. You can say whatever you want to. But he'll become mayor. And at that point, the mayor gets a lot of different controls. The mayor is the one that can spend the Klaatu that has been accumulated during these missions, all that currency that you've been depositing. The mayor can spend that on improvements for the colony, or for the township. We used to call it colony. We don't call it that anymore. It's township. And that means choosing zoning lots, which is basically, they're kind of like homesteads if you're familiar with homesteads, but a zoning lot is basically an area that you can plunk down, and then you can do controls for that. And that can be anything like, you can't mine here, you can't log here, or you can or can't. You can set permissions for who's allowed to do stuff on that in that zone, so on and so forth. So you can start to create control on the planet of these different things. You can also buy kiosks. So as the GovBot levels up, it unlocks different abilities that you can put in your zoning lots, like banks, like what's the list? I should have the list memorized by now. The bank, the university, which is the skills kiosk, the planetary ecology console, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can put those things in the different zoning lots. Now, there's a game within a game once the game gets bigger, which is one of the things that you're trying to do, and we'll be simulating soon, is you're going to be trying to keep your planet thriving when you're running a government. And by thriving, what that means is a lot of active players on it. And if you don't keep a lot of active players on it, then the servitors will eventually go, you know what, nobody cares about your planet. We're going to close down the worm gate, and we're going to open it up somewhere else on a frontier planet. At which point, everything will get mothballed, packaged up, and you'll move somewhere else. Now, that's not in the game yet right now. But the reason why I'm mentioning it is because you will want your zoning lots and your township to look great. So that it's not just a matter of opening up a zoning lot and throwing down some kiosks. When people visit your planet, you want them to be impressed. So there will be a whole socio-economic thing that revolves around builders and making things look really cool, and building stuff to make instead of just being a bank kiosk in the middle of an empty zoning lot, you build like a huge bank or financial system kind of looking thing, and then you put the kiosk inside that. You start to do those things, and this will be natural. You're not required to do it. But the people that do the best job in building their planets up here like that will attract more players, because players love to be somewhere that's cool. They love to be somewhere where stuff is organized. And that means that what we'll eventually get as the game starts to grow is we'll have these pockets of very civilized, very well-established planets surrounded out on the fringes by frontier planets and wild wormholes and all those other things. You start to see the pictures coming together in your head. So what we're doing right now with the GovBot is we're starting to engage that drive to move the game that direction. That's why I was saying, like, even though some of you will love digging and you're going to dig because you're a dwarf at heart, there will be a lot of other people where digging is just not their thing. That's not what they do. And because there's so many other opportunities and so many other ways to play. So everybody will have their own specialty, whether it's combat or digging or crafting or harvesting or, like taming and selling pets. There's a huge amount of things that are coming. So yeah, GovBot's the start of that. I think I got off track.
That's okay. Okay. Tell them about citizenship points and mission rewards.
Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, citizenship points you get when you deposit stuff at the GovBot. Every time you do that, you get citizenship points, and you can spend them in that leaderboard thing in the rewards section on the skill chits and the
learning engrams.
Learning engrams, which is the XP boosts.
Okay. 2 weeks after you get to level 2, there's going to be a vote happening.
Right.
The first election. Explain to them how the first election happens.
Okay, cool. So when you complete the first mission, somebody becomes mayor. We talked about that already. 2 weeks later, 2 real world weeks later, two calendar weeks later, there will be another vote. So the mayor needs to stay reasonably popular, but we don't want this to be willy-nilly. We don't want it to be changing all the time. So what happens is when, let's say it's Drake, right? Drake becomes the first mayor. Everybody has the ability to cast one vote, and that vote will automatically be set to be Drake. So when Drake becomes mayor, everybody's vote is set to be Drake. Okay? And the only way that Drake is going to lose being mayor is for you to change your vote to somebody else. So if enough people, a majority of people, can change their vote away from the incumbent to somebody else, then when that 2 weeks rolls around, that election will effectively elect a new mayor. And that means that Drake would have lost his position, and whoever the new one is becomes mayor and gets all the controls and can start taking over and changing the rules and building things out. But we set it up that way because what we want is for the incumbent to actually be pretty strong. We want it to be so that unless somebody is really actively not there, like they're just not participating, they're not logging into the game, or people are really disgruntled about it, leadership doesn't change that often. But the election is always there, and you can always rally people around the idea of changing to a new mayor and make it happen.
All right, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's some more details on that, but they're not important right now. Does the mayor have to do all the work, or can people help them?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Can he enlist people? He or she enlist people and give them power to delegate and stuff? Can they delegate?
Yeah, it's just like Homestead. You can set permissions. So the mayor can say, "Look, I want you, Tom, to be able to affect these zones. I want you, Mary, to be able to affect these kinds of controls, or even be able to buy kiosks and zoning lots and stuff. So you can have lieutenants that work with you." Now, the mayor is always has permission. The mayor always has permission. He can't lose it. But the other ones are optional. So if the mayor trusts people enough to give them the permissions on stuff, then they can set those permissions and other people can help build stuff.
Reflex is asking, is citizenship a player choice, or do you have to apply for it and get approved by the mayor or someone else? Good question.
Yes is the answer to that.
Maybe.
The reason why I said yes is the answer to that is because by default, you can just Anybody can be a citizen. But once a mayor is in there, a mayor can set a control to say, look, I want to approve every citizenship request. And that at that point, when the citizenship requests come in, you can't become a citizen until the mayor looks at it and goes, yeah, you're in, you're not in, so on and so forth.
Okay. Good question there. Thank you, Reflex.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of mayoral controls.
Yeah.
We can go through them all. That's not very exciting, but we can go through it all.
Yeah. And then you got zoning lots to tell people what to build or what you're allowed to do. Do we want to go through those? Mining, lumbering, chronophasing? Probably not.
Well, I mean, it's most of the things you can do in the game. So, like, for instance, let's say that you're a mayor and you want to establish roads in your township. You can set up a zoning lot where nothing is allowed except paving. You can go, you know what, there's an area over here where I don't ever want those trees to get chopped down. You can set a zoning lot over in that area and say logging is not allowed in this area. So one of the things that a township is going to buy a lot of is zoning lots. I would imagine that it will just keep getting built out. Oh, by the way, we're going to change the way zoning, the homestead and zoning lot boundaries look soon. I think some of you will look forward to this. Right now, it's on by default, so you can see those gold cubes everywhere. Eventually, that's going to be changed so that they're not on by default. It's only when you're doing something that affects the zone that it actually shows up. So it'll be a lot less in your face, and that way you can
Yay.
But even so, just in case anybody's new, you can always open up the options and turn those off right now. So turn off the homestead boundaries, and it also affects zoning lots.
There's a question from Lyra. Can you turn off logging and mining planet-wide or only in zoning lots?
You can absolutely do it planet-wide. You can absolutely say, no, none of that.
That is power.
And if you're a mayor and you have received at least 80% of the vote, you can choose to be a dictator. But you have to have received 80% of the vote.
Wow. How would that work? What can he do as a dictator?
You can basically turn off the ability for anybody else to ever become mayor.
Did you hear that, people? Holy cow. I remember Dr. Villout when he was nice. Just kidding. Chef Jarek asks, what about the message spam that happens when you go through multiple homesteads? Is there a way to disable this or just have it for only camps in your own homestead?
I think probably what we'll do is we'll start putting that into independent channels, but right now that's not on our radar to reduce. It is definitely unnecessary spam, so we'll get to it.
Okay. Obi Bob Kenobi 42. I like that. I'm trying to log into the server, but it says the servers are closed. Obi Bob, they're scheduled to open at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. But I tell you what, since you asked so nicely, I will ask Captain Rod if he's willing to open the servers a little early for you.
Why are you being nice to these people?
I know. But you're supposed to be listening to our show. But if you promise, just kidding. But we'll get Rod to open the servers early. Servers early.
Cool.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate it. Hopefully he's listening, but usually he does.
The gates are open.
All right. Thank you. All right. See, we're a responsive group here. I'm just saying. Playtest start. Okay. What about banning dancing? Oh, dear Lord. No one said that in a meeting that I've been in.
No, you can't ban dancing.
Okay. That doesn't even make sense. Dancing can be a freedom of speech protest issue if necessary.
Well, it would also be really bad. If nobody could dance, everybody would just exist with wounds, and that would not be good.
Yes. Yeah, wounds suck, you guys. Okay, Dazzle Sunstrider asks, can we have a new leak? Oh dear Lord. While he thinks about it, let me go to the next question. Trying to join the Discord, but every time I try to complete the steps, the pop-up in Discord immediately closes. Does anyone know a workaround? We don't have Lyric, or are any of the moderators around to help with Anomaly?
Which pop-up appears?
Yeah, what are you seeing for a pop-up? What does it say? And there's Lyric. He can help too. All right, and the roadmap beyond the roadmap. Maybe we should ask you to bring up the roadmap, Thomas.
We can talk about the roadmap. I will say this, that since we have the roadmap, our ability to leak new information is reduced. Because we're kind of officially leaking it now.
That's a good point. That is a really good point. And Lyric is saying that some of the bots that run on Discord are having issues at the moment. So Lyric will reach out to you and sort of sort you out as best he can. But yeah, there's the roadmap up in front of us. If you don't like this view, by the way, you can go to starsreach.com/roadmap, one word, and you can bring up your own view. That will work on mobile also, for young people with great eyes.
Yeah, I didn't realize we finally reversed the order. Yay! So the most current stuff is on the left. Yay!
Yeah.
Good.
Yay! That's all. That's Voodoo. Voodoo did all that work.
Nice.
Thank you to Voodoo, even though he's asleep right now on a Saturday morning. He's not a morning person. We love him. So there's a bunch of stuff on there, and they're in categories for a reason. Some of them are, past history. What have we already done? What are we currently testing? What does it say? Currently being worked on. Not in testing yet, still working on it, but we're currently working on it. What's coming in the next chunk we're going to work on next after this? And then what's on the long-term roadmap? So this gives you an idea. That doesn't mean that how much we value them or how important we think they are. Sometimes things are on the long-term roadmap because we've got prerequisites we have to do first. Build a technology layer or this or that or whatever. Dave, you can explain these things better than I can.
I mean, that's we're basically showing you where we're going because people were wondering a lot about where we were going and what we were doing, and a lot of people were like, "Yay, we can dig, but what else is coming?" And we were like, "Yeah, we need to show the shape of the game that's planned." So this isn't obviously the whole game. I don't think there's any discussion about starships or anything on here, but there's there's a lot more after that. But this gives you an idea like where we're going in the coming months, and some of it is maybe even longer than that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, a lot of chewy bits, and we'll keep updating it as we go.
Yeah, but put your questions in chat and we'll help you. Does the game support 3440 by 1440?
You know what? I said yes, but I'm not sure.
I am playing on that actually.
Huh?
I am playing on that resolution right now.
Okay, I thought. Good. There you go. Yes. Yeah. No. We. I mean, obviously, there's way more. Like I was just talking about PvP and territory control and all that stuff, and we've mentioned that before. It's not really a leak, but that's certainly not on the roadmap. There's always stuff that's not on the roadmap. What's a near-term leak that we're gonna do? I think we told you all the near-term stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be harder, but occasionally we'll have a piece of art we can show that hasn't made it into the game yet or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
We're working right now. We're working really hard on revamping the front end of the game. So the preamble, which is those black screens, that lower X section, that's all getting redone. The hallway where you run through and learn about movement and everything like that, that's all getting redone. And then we're doing design for the training moon and the dangerous planet after that. That the moon orbits around, and then that's all new. That will be coming in before we get to where you normally go into the game right now, which is the starbase. So the idea is you go preamble, hallway, training moon, danger planet, and then starbase. And then from the starbase, you can go out into the galaxy as a whole. But it's not just like a big long tutorial. That's not what we're doing. Yes, you're going to learn about how to play the game and learn some of the basics and everything like that. But from the moment you get out of the hallway going forward, and hopefully even during the hallway, the idea is fun. Like we're working to make the game fun to play, lots of player agency, so that you're making decisions about what you do and when you do it, all that stuff. So we're adding all those elements in the near future, next couple of sprints. Or sorry, that's for us. That's the next couple of months. Jargon.
okay. And can you explain a little bit better why we have no wild wormhole right now and why we have 4 planets and what's gonna happen in a couple weeks?
Okay, yeah, sure. Some of this is because we wanted the game to show well to new people when they came by, and some of it is because we just didn't have the time to make wild wormholes as robust as we wanted them to be. Plus, we really want people to experiment with GovBot. So right now, we've turned off the wild wormholes temporarily because there wasn't a lot of reason to go to the wild wormholes. And what we're doing right now is we're showing 4 static planets, which sounds like, well, now we're going to run out of minerals, we're going to run out of resources because there's only these 4 static planets. But that's not the plan. The idea is that, well, let's start with these 4 static planets. Everybody will start building up the GovBots and everything like that. And then in a couple weeks from now, we're going to start keeping track of how popular those planets are. And the least popular planet is going to cycle out, which is kind of similar to where we're going with the servitor stuff. So that least popular planet will cycle out, a new one will come in. There will always be something new and fresh that goes in because we'll continuously, like periodically, we'll be cycling out the least popular planet. So when something comes in that is really popular and people start flocking to it or rebuilding or whatever it is, we'll get that kind of cycle going. And then eventually we'll get the real mechanics in on it. But we'll be simulating the game a lot more for what we want it to be this way, and also giving people the opportunity to build GovBot on new planets when they show up. And then later on, we'll make the effort to make the wild wormholes attractive, because wild wormholes are supposed to be really dangerous. They're supposed to be high risk, high reward. And we didn't get the time to do that. We worked on the mechanics of it for the opening and closing and keeping track of all the points and, making sure that volatile stuff didn't come back in and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we got the base foundation of it done, but we don't have the gameplay elements in it. So that's why we have it mothballed for now, and we'll turn it on again later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was too detailed, but thank you. Just kidding. Okay.
I know too much.
Other things to warn people about. Things that don't have to do with GovBot that we changed in this game. Let's see. New furniture pieces. New building tiles. Let's see. The stuck command. Explain the stuck command.
Oh, We used to have the /camp command so that basically you could just teleport back to the portal wherever you were on the planet. And that was so abusive. Because people, like you take, the highest paid mission is the one that's way out on the frontier. I'll just run straight out there and then /camp back to the portal. And that's not what's supposed to be happening. And plus, when we were doing the GovBot stuff, we wanted to be able to analyze metrics a little bit more and figure out how long it takes for people to do stuff. And if they can cut half their travel time all the time, that's not really useful for us. So what we did was we took out /camp and instead we put in /stuck. And what stuck is really what camp was for in the first place, which is to get, if you manage to get into a situation where you're stuck, you can type that command and it'll teleport you back up to the surface of the planet and hopefully you won't be stuck anymore. So that's a little bit abusable because you can be mining really deep in the world and then you can just, I want to be out of here and go to the surface. But it's way less abusable than /camp. And that's why we did it that way.
Okay, Fresh AF is asking about water erosion updates on the roadmap. Will they help make player-made waterfalls more sustainable?
Yeah,
There's a couple of things working on.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out how to say this.
Take your time.
Okay.
Take your time. Think about it.
First of all, we're implementing evaporation. Okay, so when the planet is going, then there is evaporation. Water disappears. It starts to just disappear and go away, and water will eventually evaporate. Lakes will go empty, so on and so forth. But not really, because what we do is, in addition to evaporation, we also replenish water sources based on evaporation, which will eventually be a rain system, but we don't have that yet. So what happens is, as water gets evaporated down here, it starts reappearing back wherever that water source came from. And then the water will continuously renew itself, and that allows us to have things like rivers. So we're going to start adding in rivers. Well, rivers aren't really rivers if all that happens is the water appears and it just percolates out over the ground. So what needs to happen is that water needs to start chewing away at the terrain and creating ravines. So it'll change stuff into mud. The mud will change into gravel, and it'll start digging deeper until it gets to a certain point, and then it won't go any deeper. And we start to see, the action that you would expect from water. And then that will get much better. And this is not real close, but we will be working on it soon. We'll be adding a pressure system to the game. And pressure, when you think of pressure, you think of explosions and stuff like that. But in the terms of flowing water, what that means is, instead of right now, if you make a waterfall, it kind of works its way over and stuff like that. But if there's a mass of water above something, that creates pressure on that water, and so the water will begin to flow more quickly, and you'll start to see more like flowing rivers. And it won't just be lakes and like a canal is what it looks like right now. It'll start to flow, and there will be current, and it will be digging trenches and yada 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 yada. Does that make sense?
You can see one of our problems, one of our challenges is sometimes what we're building is so complicated you can't put it on a little tile in a roadmap. You can only put a super high level thing in and just put it in there. Okay, trust us, this is going to be complicated, but
the trick is, from a player point of view, it's not complicated at all, because water does what you expect water to do. That's not complicated. Yeah. That just makes it seem like it. Like right now, it does not do what you would expect it to do. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So we will make it so that it does, and then everything will feel natural and not complicated at all. But from our side of the fence, it's a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah. Yes, some things just require a lot more work than they look like they would require on the surface.
Yeah.
Waboba is asking a really good question. I don't see the building system upgrade, primitives and such, on the roadmap. Is that still planned?
Yeah. I mean, it's promised. That's not just planned. That's promised. That was a Kickstarter thing. It's absolutely going to happen. When? Before launch is the answer to that. It's not scheduled in the near term. We're doing right now. The reason why there's new building tiles and everything like that is because we wanted you to be able to do more stuff. We wanted to start experimenting with props, and more importantly, like figuring out what our limits are on props. So we're starting to give you a bunch of stuff so that you can do things with them, and make more decisions. But eventually, we'll be doing more primitives. Most of the most of the tiles that we're giving you, not the props, but most of the tiles that we're giving you are more basic in nature, but they are still not the primitive system yet.
Okay, Marcus from Oz, meaning Australia, is asking, can you create different characters and have them be citizens of different planets?
Currently, yes. We're debating whether citizenship should be account-wide, but we don't really want to do that. We just don't really want to do that. The argument about that starts to revolve around PvP and factions, but we're not there yet, so we don't have to make that decision yet, and we're still talking about it.
Nice. By the way, Fresh AF liked your answer on the water mechanics, and Waboba liked your answer on the building system upgrade. And now Marcus is saying thanks for your answer on the different characters and different citizenships. Cool. Yeah. All right, cool. We seem to have a break in the questions, so I'm going to ask you one myself. Let's say I'm a miner and I'm mining out in space, and I am my terraformer terraformer has filled up, and I have to empty the hopper. Tell me about the change to what happens when you empty your hopper in space.
Excuse me. As he stalls for time. No, I'm just kidding. When you empty your hopper,
man a margarita. Yeah, somebody get this man a margarita. Okay.
When you empty your hopper in space, it'll empty, but then those tailings will start to evaporate. That's not what we want long term, but right now they'll start to evaporate. So that crazy Cthulhuoid tentacle things that were happening on the servers before, they shouldn't be possible in space anymore. So, like on planet, when everything flows, you can't have flow in space because there's no gravity, so it doesn't flow. So what we did instead is we have it ablate. Is that a verb? It's ablative, and it evaporates over time in space. Later, it will not just, what we want is for it to turn into combustive gas, so that the more you mine in a single spot, the more of that builds up, and there's a danger of actually exploding yourself. But we'll get to that.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions? Will we be able to build our own space stations?
You already can.
Yeah.
Right. There's something we were going to do, and we didn't do that, which was allow GovBots to be established in space. We're still debating whether or not we want to do it. But the idea would obviously be functional. It would work. We'd have to change the missions a little bit because it's, just a little bit hard to get wood in space. And there's a few other things like that wouldn't work very well, seeds and wood and things like that. But the idea is a solid one, and being able to control sectors plays well into the eventual PvP faction game, but not yet. So right now you can build a space station, but it wouldn't be like a GovBot control kind of thing. It would just be, you'd be putting homesteads out there in space and building a space station.
Right. Any more? All right. Thank you all for coming. The game is open. Go for it. We will do another one of these fireside chats probably in about 3 weeks, if Dave is free, or if not, we'll Shanghai Raph into coming, or both. And very much appreciate your support and the great discussions and questions today.
Cool. Yeah.
Yay.
Hello, people. Talk to you soon. See you in game.